Thank you. Thank you for being here and for all of your work. Mr. Director, the USAID is not a charity, right? It is a U.S. agency that promotes humanitarian and development aid around the world, but as part of it, also furthering U.S. interests around the world. So it's a two-way street for us. We're doing what's right, but we're also furthering our national interests, right?
Yes, that's correct.
And so as you get involved in each country, you look at the specific needs. Every country has different needs. Some countries have a lack of access to water. Some countries, women are not treated appropriately or the rights are violated. Every country has different needs. Some have energy problems. And so what USAID aims to do is to go into specific countries, determine what their needs is, and promote those humanitarian causes, but also in a way that furthers U.S. interests. Is that an accurate description?
Yes, our mission is to end extreme poverty and promote resilient democratic societies, because over the long term, accomplishing that mission makes us safer and more secure, and you've articulated that very well.
So with that mission in mind, you have programs, for example, on the island of Cuba that you have been engaged in the past and continue to be. As I understand it, the clearly stated goals of that program, available for every member of this committee and the world to read, is to break the information blockade in Cuba and to promote information sharing, among other stated goals. Those are stated goals of our program and our involvement there, correct?
We have notified Congress in congressional budget justifications and notifications every year since 2008 on the goals of those programs, and we run internet access and freedom of information programs in many parts of the world, including Cuba.
Exactly. So, and the reason why I bring that up, and that rightfully so that you focused on information sharing and so forth, because Cuba, according to Freedom House, is the second most repressive government in the world, only after Iran. In my understanding, it was a very close second after Iran in terms of denying access to information sharing, denying access to the internet. People in Cuba can't go on the internet. I mean, if you're close to the government, you may be able to sneak in an internet access here or there. But the average person on the street cannot go on the internet in Cuba. It's not just a capacity issue. It is prohibited. In fact, I'm going to send out a tweet right now. If I sent this tweet in Cuba, I would be put in jail. Okay? And I'm going to send it right now as an example of what people in Cuba cannot do. People in Cuba cannot do what I'm about to do. And so as a result of that, USAID, as has been revealed in the last few days, but was available for people to see if they were interested in it, USAID had a program called Zunzuneo, which was designed to provide the people of Cuba access to information and to break the information blockade and to allow people to share information. And I want to walk through this. First of all, there's been an insinuation made by some that this program was illegal. But in fact, this program, in my opinion, and I think in yours as well, was completely within the stated mandate, within the stated purpose of your programs in Cuba, to break the information blockade, to promote information sharing. That's accurate, right? That was right within that goal.
We have publicly notified that these programs are designed to enable open communications.
And the other argument I've heard is, well, this was a covert program. But in fact, this program was reviewed by the General Accounting Office, right?
Correct.
And they made no suggestions for changes. They had no criticism of the way the money was being administered.
They actually complimented USAID on improved management oversight of programs.
This wasn't an intelligence program. We weren't spying on the Cuban government using this program.
No.
We weren't selling weapons on this program or somehow arming elements on the ground in Cuba through this program.
No.
So this program basically was allowing Cubans to be able to communicate with other Cubans because their government doesn't let them do that. By the way, in advanced society in the 21st century, people should at least be able to do that, right? But in Cuba, they're not. And so what this program chose to do was to fulfill the mandate of this program as informed by Congress to break the information blockade and to promote information sharing. So I read this article, and it said that at its peak, there were 40,000 users on the program. That's actually not true, right? At its peak, it had 68,000 users. So here's my question. When was the last time that we stopped a program because it was too successful? Because this program, in my mind, is successful. Not only am I glad that we did this program, what I'm upset about is that we stopped. And I don't think we should just stop at Twitter-like programs. I think we should do everything possible. Maybe USAID is not the perfect agency for this, what I'm about to talk about, but I believe we should do everything we can to provide the people of Cuba and other repressed societies full access to the internet so they can go on any website they want. If they want to read Grandma, which is the communist rag in Cuba, they can read it all they want online. And if they want to read the CNN website or the New York Times or Huffington Post or Drudge or whatever they want to read, they should be able to do that as well. I think for everyone who's outraged by this program, when was the last time that undermining a tyranny is counter to the stated purposes of the United States of America. When is the last time that we've been outraged by a government program that undermines a tyranny and provides access to a people of a country to the free flow of information and the ability to talk to each other? I read these quotes in the paper, people setting themselves on fire around here. Oh, this program, I heard one quote was cockamamie. Since when? We have radio broadcasts to Europe during the Cold War. We have radio broadcasts to Cuba right now. Those actually have content in them. All we wanted people to do was to talk to each other. And I want to know, when was the last time that it was against the stated purpose and goals of the United States of America to undermine a tyranny? By the way, a tyranny that we heard testimony here just 3 days ago that is involved in the single greatest violation of UN sanctions against North Korea since they were imposed, a tyranny that votes against us in every international forum, a tyranny that is consistently on the side of every madman and tyrant on the planet. If there was a vote on Syria, they're with Assad. When there was a vote on Libya, they were with Gaddafi. If there was a vote on Russia, they're with Putin. If there's a vote on human rights violations in China, they're with China. Time and again, when was the last time that Cuba in an international forum ever lined up on the side of decency and human rights? This is an anti-American government that doesn't just undermine its own people. It tries to undermine our foreign policy aims and the foreign policy aims of the free world. And so my question would be, and I know this is a long-winded question, when do we start this program again? What do we need to do to start not just this program, but expand it, so that people in Cuba can do what I just did, and that is speak freely to the world and to each other about the reality of Cuban life and about anything else they want, including the latest record from Beyonce or Jay-Z, or what someone wore to the Oscars, whatever they want to write about. When do we start this again?
Senator, I just want to clarify, USAID programs are, as notified, designed to promote open access to information and facilitate communication. Any programs that have further purposes are not implemented by USAID, but rather by other parts of the State Department or the National Endowment for Democracy. In terms of restarting these types of things, you know, we have the FY14 fiscal guidance is pretty clear as to which agencies will be pursuing these activities into the future.